Hi everyone, I'm Ben, and this is the Board Game Blueprint. This week, we're going to be taking a closer look at the component known as the avatar. So let's jump on over to that table next door and see what we have in store. And so when I refer to the avatar, I'm not necessarily talking about the element bender or the blue people, although we do have some of those here as well. Avatar in this context is more like those online representations of ourselves, like kind of the generic heads on bodies, as we can kind of see all across the table here. Now, I don't know exactly where the term comes from, but you'll often see, like these kind of figurines with, again, the head and the body on like boxes, game boxes, with or in reference to the player age and maybe the player count of a given game. So as we can see on the table, we have this selection or variety of multicolor acrylic ones, but as we sort of prefaced with earlier, there are also these kind of composite avatars, which were on the GameCrafter originally or earlier in the lifetime of its catalog, but were recently removed, I think, in favor of these shinier versions of them. Now, these are made of composite or sort of recycled materials. Let's see if we can get that in focus. There we go. And if we bring it in closer, you can kind of see, like little specks of white and such. And also a pretty distinct seam. And I want to say that's maybe why the GameCrafter switched over. I don't know the total story or the logistics behind that, but you'll also notice that on the back side, there are kind of these two connection points, which is where I imagine the mold connected for the materials. They would be injected in and then sort of released in the sprue and kind of snipped like this. But if we look at the plastic acrylic instead, there is no seam, no seam really, or not as visible. And there's also no connection points. In fact, it's kind of in favor of only one connection point here. And this is where, the plastic was kind of plucked off there or snipped off. So these come in, all the colors as seen in front of us, from pink or purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, black, white, or transparent white. So all of these have light going through them. We have this clear, which is similar, and we have like this white, which is a little bit more opaque. Light does not pass through it as much. And then we have these solid black and white. So there are, a fine look and feel of these components. I would say the plastic, as we've talked about in videos past, is a little bit more of a cool feeling versus maybe the composite material, a little bit closer to wood, which has like a warm feeling to it. But what can we do with these? Just like the meeples from before, we can use them as like upgraded versions of themselves. And so this kind of out-of-stock component avatar could be powered up into the translucent blue version of it instead. And because that's right, these have been removed from the GameCrafter's catalog, I found that the best way that I've gotten a few of these is through the grab bags. So if you are looking for these specifically, it's going to be a bit of a lottery in that sense of trying to get the ones that you exactly need. But if you're able to make it to a proto spiel, maybe they might have these available also. So since we have them in hand, I'm just going to go ahead and measure out the dimensions with our handy dandy game designer's ruler. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one here, this black avatar, and we'll just measure it on camera for us. So if we kind of line up the lines thusly, we'll see that it's just over 16 or 16 millimeters wide, and then we'll see how tall. We're going to look at 0, maybe, there we go, 24 millimeters tall, abouts. And then the depth, so we've got two depths here. This one for the body, if we line that up, is maybe 10, 11 or so. And then for the big head here, it's going to be maybe more than that still. I would say, 12 to 13. So I'm hoping that the GameCrafter will have those specifically listed on their page. I'll go ahead and copy that into like a little box up top here. But uses for these components also. Well, as we kind of talked about before, it's pretty obvious that you can use them as representations of people and players, as pawns and such, and they're really fun to grab too. So that is also maybe why you might pick these over another. If you're kind of like looking for a generic sort of entity as opposed to maybe specifically like an entire person, I've kind of been thinking, because it's only the bust, you know, from the shoulders, chest up, it could be as if they were popping from the ground. And so these could be like different zombies that have different elemental charges and stuff like that, experimentations that have been resurrected and whatnot. I think maybe a little bit more fanciful still is if these were used as little tricycle horns, honk honk, that, you know, are on little kids' bikes and stuff. But one other option is that because of how fun they are to kind of pick up by the head, maybe kind of using them as stamps could also be one more possibility for them. And those are kind of the ones that I've come up with. But yeah, if there are any that strike you as really interesting, please leave them in the comments below. That's about, I think, all I have to say about the avatars. There are, so many different kinds here as we have, and how they compare, that's right, like to a regular meeple, is if we'll just go ahead and grab them like this. So it's quite clear, here we are, that the meeple is shorter than the avatar. I would say that they probably weigh about the same, maybe the avatar a little bit more so, but if you're looking at the scales of things, if you want sort of more generic kinds of components, I think maybe the avatar might suit you even better, especially if it's a game about social media and the like. And I hope this video answered every question you may have had about the avatar component. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and click that bell icon so you can stay notified about when the next video goes up. As always, I'm Ben. This has been another episode of the Board Game Blueprint, and together, let's build something great.